Hey guys, Mike here with Discount Forklift, and right behind me is going to be our new lift hero, rated at 6,000 pound capacity. This is our lithium ion technology, which is actually under this hood here. Instead of it normally being outfitted with liquid propane or diesel application, which is typically what you would see this chassis on. As you can see, you actually do have some pneumatic tires here. So these are good solids that are basically going to last up to, pretty much until these things are worn down completely. The benefit is the fact that you actually can run over nails and spikes and never get a flat on these, which is awesome. And you do have your lever controls here. So this is going to control the mast to raise it up. This is going to lower it down. This is your tilt function, obviously forward, backward. Your side shift function here, because there's pump with valve to just accommodate that. Typically, you'll see some of applications will have a fourth valve, but in this case, it doesn't. You do have your mast here. So we did have a service sticker here to ensure that our technician actually went through this thing, did the proper checks to make sure that this is actually going to work good for you guys. You do have a three-stage mast here, so this is going to get roughly up to about 15 feet, a little bit more, probably about 15.8, something like that. You do have your safety painted forks here, so standard pallet size, which is going to be great for what you guys are going to be using them for. You do have your strobes and your lights here, as you can see, in the back as well as the front. And the way to activate that is if you actually just rotate this forward. However, the thing is when this lift is actually on, then you'll actually be able to go ahead and do that function. All right. You do have your horn, which obviously it would work if it was on, as well as your throttle position here. So if I push this forward, it's going to make the lift go forward. Neutral is going to keep it stationary, obviously, and reverse is simply going to have it go to the rear. This is your safety brake, or your e-brake is what it's called. So if I depress it and send it forward, it's actually going to deactivate it. So make sure that when you're actually have this thing parked, make sure this thing's completely vertical and not like this, because if it's like this, it has the potential it may be able to roll. This, as far as your kill switch. So if I press this, it'll actually turn the lift off completely. You have to actually twist it, and you actually hear it pop, which means that it's completely up instead of down. So that way you can actually have this activate. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in this, show you guys what it will do. As far as your gift bag, I'll go ahead and explain that here in a little bit of what we include, as well as a toolbox here. So when I turn this on, you actually see the dash actually light up here. It'll tell you about the charge level on the battery. So right now it's fully charged up. You can see the full bars here. It doesn't tell you how fast you're going because we're not going anywhere, obviously. Now, if I was to rotate that, you do see the LEDs come on. You do have what you would call the emergency strobes, things like that. Your horn, obviously. And now, if I actually put on our seatbelt, because some lifts typically will not allow you to operate this unless you have a seatbelt on. This isn't the case, but for this, because we care about being safe, we always encourage people to use their seatbelts, just like operating a car. So now I'm going to put my foot on the brake. I'm going to make sure that this emergency brake is deactivated. And now I'm going to go ahead and raise up the mast a little bit and just basically take it for a spin. You'll kind of hear this thing actually turn on. It'll be very subtle though. It won't be typically like a regular internal combustion engine where you actually hear it on all the time like a car. You can hear it rev up, things like that. It's not the case with lithium ion or electric. This thing's very, very smooth. Now the thing I want to note too, they are also very fast, and they do have insane throttle response. So it's something that actually take the time to get to know your equipment, drive it around, get used to that, because it definitely does not have a delay in response as far as hitting this throttle. See, if I just hit it all of a sudden and it just wants to go, it just wants to move. Same thing if I put it to the rear, it's just instant. You can feel these tires gripping this ground pretty well. Even though it is a warehouse, you still feel it gripping pretty well. Now, if you actually were outside, you'd actually feel it as well too. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is flip this around towards our camera guy here. Make sure that I don't get in the way of this. So I'm going to actually have it like this. And now I'm going to actually put the safety brake on. Now I'm going to show you what it is going up. All right. Get you to about 15 feet. You're going to hear kind of the squeaking because, again, these are brand new. These things haven't been used much, so they're just having to break in and get used to that. So now our tilt function. Pretty easy to see right there. And now you have your side shift, which is going to allow these forks to move left or right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and lower this down. Cover a couple things real quick. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. Our brakes are good. So we have our data tag right here. This has all the information on your forklift. It has the recommended capacity with a fork 6 inches from the ground. It has all the way to the top, obviously fully extended. So obviously the weight transfer will actually be different at that approach. Now, Brad, this is where things get cool. So we do include a hat that we give you guys, as well as a shirt that has our logo per se. But actually has evolution of mankind, obviously going to forklift, which is pretty good design that our media team actually came up with, as well as on the back here. It's probably the coolest shirt we've ever actually had for our company. So I got you the right size that you need. Also, our hat here is actually a flex fit, so they're very comfortable. But actually has our logo here for Octane, obviously on the back here as well, which is one of our newer brands that we have been selling for quite a bit. Now, with this bag is also including a forklift maintenance guide. So if I was to open this up, it actually tells you how to maintain these. Now, for this forklift, essentially, what I will tell you is that this is maintenance free. So a lot of this won't pertain to this lift. If it was a conventional electric that ran off of lead acid, then you can definitely feel this. This, on the other hand, you're not having to worry about that because it isn't the case. We do have maintenance, or as far as scheduling for this, if you actually have to inspect it, which you should do a pre-inspection operating this lift every single shift that you use it. So we actually do have some notes here, do have some graphs and charts that you could actually fill out if that's what you guys choose to do, but that's all included for free. So when you do receive this forklift, it will have a charger with it. It will have this shirt, and it will have this hat, and it will actually have a toolbox that will help you guys if you were to need to work on this or change something out. That's what the toolbox is for. But Brad, you're gonna really love this lift. I'm glad that you guys actually consider Lift Hero. This is one spectacular piece of equipment you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with. But thanks for doing business with us so we can support businesses like you guys.